Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for April 9th, 2019. With your hosts, Spaceburger2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
Okay, I have to ask a question.
Okay.
Have you seen the second episode of the Ryuki special?
Nope.
Okay. There's a thing in the Ryuki special that I'm just like, okay, I don't remember that. But I also don't think that was a thing. But okay, sure. This is here now. And you do nothing with it. Cool. But yeah, there's a thing there that I'm like, I don't know about this. Because I don't think it's I don't think it's adding depth to a character at all. I think it's just here to be here. Especially since that character does not get that many things in said episode that he's gone in said episode as well. So, yeah. You'll probably see what I'm talking about when you watch it. But anyway, this week, folks, we are taking a look at episodes 43 through 46 of Double. Essentially, our last batch of 4, because next week is a batch of 3, because there's only 3 episodes left after this.
And you know, what's funny is by the end of this, we've really kind of eliminated everybody that we would have figured we would have had to looked at.
Yeah.
And it's one of those that's kind of funny that while this, in all intents and purposes, could have been the last stretch of Double, it isn't.
Yeah, because you know, you have that extra little factor of Foundation X, because they're not dealt with. And to be fair, they'll never be dealt with, because we only ever deal with agents of them. We've never dealt with the organization.
Yeah, the one thing Geo could have done right.
Yeah. Granted, I don't trust him with it.
Oh, at this point, no.
I don't trust him with a Drive Tribute 2-parter.
I'm just meaning that that could have been the main bad guy for Geo and would have actually kind of helped close that chapter there, but instead it's just dangling. Because I'm sure by the end of Geo, Shocker's going to have something to do with some part of this. Because reasons. Because that always seems to be what gets thrown back.
Yeah. Yeah, even though we've jobbed them out, I believe, like 6 times by now.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if you job out an organization enough times, they stop being threatening, unless you write them in a competent way. And unfortunately, Shocker was not written in a competent way.
Ah, but see, this time, there's going to be a twist. Except for they can't do a twist. Because, you know, the first thought of a twist would be that Decade would be leading them, but oh wait, he has before. Twice.
Don't worry, the twist is that Kaito's working for Omageo. That's the twist.
And that Omageo's the one in charge of Shocker?
Yes. Also, I'm not kidding on that first part. I'm not kidding on that first part, by the way.
I don't doubt it. I am
Kaito
on that
is
second
legitimate,
part, but I completely could believe it if they said it.
Yeah, no, legitimately, Kaito's working for Omageo, and I go, first of all, why? Second of all, why? Third of all, is this why Tsukasa's involved? Because I feel like this is why Tsukasa's involved.
Probably. Either that or Tsukasa got involved and then Kaito was like, hey, I'll partner with you just to screw him over.
I guess.
Because, I mean, that would probably fit more into his character.
Probably. Granted, he did fucking nothing in these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
He stole a bunch of ride watches, pestered Gates and Laws just so they're busy while we deal with the blade stuff on the side, and then he's just gone. Granted, the episode's not subbed yet, so I don't know what Omagio's big speech to Sogo at the end of the episode was, but I don't care.
It was probably something along the lines of, you're gonna be me, start being evil, do it because I said so. That probably summed it up.
Probably. Also, collect the other ride watches, goddammit.
Because I mean, let's be honest, that's kind of been the basis behind him being Omagio. This entire show was just because someone told him to do it.
Yeah. Also, apparently, considering the ride watches that show up, I guess Forever doesn't count as the Dino tribute because Dino's ride watch is in that group shot. So I guess we're getting another Dino tribute.
I would say, meaning we've kind of got a timeline shuffle like we had with Ghost, but you know what? It makes more sense in Geo because at least time travel's involved here.
Yeah. I just get annoyed by that because I'm like, okay, so you got one of the informants back for Double. You got nobody back for Kuga. But you got the original Dino back for the movie, but that doesn't count as the Dino tribute. What? I know you spent money for the other 2 to have their armors in that movie. Why didn't you swap one of them with Dino? Why? If Dino's not gonna count here with his original actor back, why? Oh my god.
I'm telling you, it smells like Boost. Like hardcore. Like we're already gonna write this into the show, but we're gonna write it into the movie, and one of these is not gonna actually be canon because reasons.
Yeah, because we've already we've already shown that Sogo has the Ryuki ride watch, which he hasn't obtained yet in the Ryuki special. Which, when did he get that? Because he didn't have it before the Ryuki special. Or before the Ryuki episodes. But is the Ryuki special after the episodes? Because Ryuga's alive.
Huh.
And also refuses back with Kenza, or not Kenzaki, Ryuki. So he's still a dick. So,
Huh.
when does the special take place?
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
They also repeat the whole fusing of Ryuki and Ryuga to get Ryuga's main body in fucking episode 2, and I just don't care because I've seen all of this shit from Ryuki before, and nothing's new. Like, one thing's new in episode 2, and I don't care because I'm not invested in any of the characters involved in this little plot line. And you're frankly apparently not interested because both of them involved in are dead by the end of episode 2, so there goes that one. Like, nothing about this Ryuki special I care. Nothing. Not a single bit of it. It just feels like we're just retreading old ground again and again and again and again, because that'll pop the fans. Instead of doing something new with this. Why is the Shinobi one not subbed yet? I really need the Shinobi one subbed. Anyway, we should get to the proper writer. Since we keep talking about Geo.
Yeah, I guess we shall.
Alright, so episodes 43 and 44 are the O-Chain two-parter, while 45 and 46 are the Who the K Needs two-parter. And bear in mind, for continuity's sakes, folks, between these two-parters is A to Z. So, we're skipping over A to Z because we did an episode on A to Z on the old TGSR. But I highly encourage you to go watch A to Z because the show literally goes, by the way, you should go watch A to Z. As you exit episode 44, and as you come back from 45, it goes, hey, by the way, A to Z happened.
Yeah, there is literally a warm handoff between 44 A to Z and then 45.
It's almost like it's really good writing.
And like they planned for the movie to be in continuity.
Because I believe it's all written by the same person. Continuity, it's not hard. It's not that hard. Anyway, kicking off with episode 43, The Age Detective. We start off with Terry visiting his family grave and making note of the flowers there. That's a plot point, by the way. The monk, not so much.
The flowers, definitely.
Yeah. But as he, I guess, catches up with them, or catches them up, we cut back to the office. Akihiko accidentally drinks from Terry's cup and gets a bit hot by it because, well, we've got shipping going on here. It's more apparent in A to Z than, or it gets most apparent in A to Z, as I think Akihiko's like big push for it. But we'll get there by the end of the series. Don't worry. But as they're hanging out, a mom drops by that says that they need to help her kid. And, well, an old lady's with her, and it turns out that's the kid! She's been aged to be an old lady! And Shroud is apparently involved because she's hanging around the office in the background, because that's what Shroud does. And that's our cold open. Coming out of it, Miyu, the kid, was apparently the star of some play at the school she was at. She's like 6.
10.
She's a kid.
She's 10.
Which makes...
It says so in the show.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, I did not pay attention to that part. I barely paid attention to names of the parents and the other kid. All I remembered him as was Mom 1, Miyu, Mom 2, Kid 2. Because bear in mind, I'm taking these notes as the episode plays, and I rarely pause the episode, so I more or less just have to go, all right, you, and you. Okay, cool. I'm not remembering your names. You're not that important.
Nah. I mean, they're there for what, 2 episodes and barely that?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, you know the important, like, 2-parter characters when they make a cameo in E to Z. Which, by the way, several do, if you pay attention. Because once more, that's the strength of Double's writing, where we go, oh yeah, we do remember some of these people that Shotaro crew have helped, and they're here in the background of E to Z. Because we want to remind you that, yeah, this takes place in an actual city, where these people exist. They don't just stop existing after their 2 episodes end.
But that's not realistic.
Apparently, Miyu got aged by some evil fortune teller person that if you speak a certain phrase to him, he'll offer you a deal to age up a person for so much amount of money. So, while Akihiko is the one saying this around to a whole bunch of different fortune tellers, Wakata finds out about Shroud because I guess no one told her about Shroud till now.
Well, I think Ryube made the comment of he's kind of been holding that back from her. So
yeah, let me.
I think Shroud's just been that person that no one talks about in the house, kind of deal.
Yeah, let me not tell you about your mom that left and decided to swear vengeance on all of us. Specifically me, and wants me dead. Very brutally, for more than likely. Yeah, might leave that off the table.
Yeah. Might be best.
But after that scene, we catch up with Akihiko and crew, and they finally find the fortune teller. And it turns out it's a guy with the old memory. He tries to attack Akihiko, but Terry blocks it and is okay. But then Double try to go after him, and they get attacked by the goop, and the goop turns Shotaro old. Because the goop is important, apparently, for the overall plot at least.
Well, you say important, but it kind of is, really.
It's informative important.
Yeah.
So, Shotaro's been turned old, which causes problems. But Shroud is here nearby, and leads Philip and Terry into an alley to tell them, hey, I need you to turn into Cyclone Axel Extreme, because that is the double that I want and need for my vengeance, and it's fueled by vengeance. So do it. And once more, I love Terry. He's just like, no. He's just the first one to say no. Not Philip. Terry's the first one to go, no, I am not stealing Shotaro's partner. Stop it. Back at the office, the mom is worried about her kid's role in the stupid play that I don't think we even hear what exactly it is. Instead of the fact that she's fucking 80 years old at the moment. So, priorities.
Yeah.
Philip tries to do a lookup, but Wakana's looking for stuff on Shroud, and they cross paths. And so Philip knows that Wakana knows about Shroud. That's happening.
But I believe also at this point, Wakana's like, oh, so you don't really know who Shroud is. Because this is the point where she already knows.
To be fair, it's not like she's ever introduced herself outside of a person in a mask.
Yeah, and you will use this.
Honestly, Terry knows her more than Shotaro and Philip at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, what? A couple pieces of the double gear are from Shroud? And I think it's just a couple of the memory gadgets.
I'm wondering too if maybe the show kind of implies that all of the memory gadgets were actually from her. I mean, I don't think it ever comes out and says it, but I'm wondering if that's what was supposed to kind of be implied from the ones they did get from her that they mentioned in show.
Well, future knowledge, mind you, from Movie War Core. But, like, the Revolve Gary and the Stag Phone are hers, because those are originally Narumi's. Well, the Revolve Gary was originally the Skull Gary before it was modified into Revolve Gary somehow. Don't ask me that part, I don't know that part. We never got into the specifics of what happened between, like, Narumi dying and, like, Shotaro and Philip becoming double. And, like, us meeting them at the start of the series. We don't get that time period.
Ever.
Yeah. The beginnings of Double are a mystery, and I'm okay with that because I don't need to see them starting out. I'm okay with that.
Well, I think it flows better for the show knowing that they've kind of got a little bit of experience and kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah. So, like, that stuff was made by Shroud. So, I guess all the memory gadgets were, but I don't think the show ever explicitly said that all of them were.
Yeah,
only, like,
I don't
the snail and the frog were.
Does. Yeah, I don't think it ever explicitly says it, but I think that's what they might have meant to kind of be implied.
Mm-hmm.
Which I have to wonder, too, because of something that I'd say you've probably got it in your notes, but something we know about a little later on, possibly maybe points to every bit of the double gear was at least helped by Shroud at some point. Like excluding the memories?
Assuming, because I believe we never get the name of who Narumi took the request for to go get Philip. Assuming that was Shroud that requested it to start with. Probably.
Well, I'm sure you know which conversation I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That I'm sure we'll get to, but
mm-hmm.
It's one of those, it's like, I feel like based off of that, it's probably more implied that every bit of the double gear was Shroud's doing, to some extent. Whether it was she personally made the stuff for him, like I said, excluding the memories, or maybe at least had a hand in making sure they got a hold of them. But yeah.
Back to the episode. We check in with Sayaka and fuck, what is his name? Wow, I forgot his name. Foundation X guy.
Oh, I don't remember. It doesn't help that we very rarely hear his name either.
Yeah, no. Which is surprising because he's technically final boss of the series.
Because, like, most of the scenes he's in, he's doing the talking.
Mm-hmm. June. Yeah, he's talking. She's talking to June, about the T2 memories that Foundation X has dug up and are going to make use of. Plot point for the movie, by the way.
That we don't technically know of as T2 memories right now?
I think he called them T2s in that conversation.
I don't think he did. I think he was saying they were unfinished memories that they got in finished.
Okay.
I don't think it was ever explicitly said they were T2 memories.
Maybe that's the next episode, because I'm like, you succinctly say that these are T2 memories at some point in these 2 episodes, because I remember you saying.
It might have been at the handoff at the end, but
okay.
It was not during this conversation.
All right.
But yeah.
Yeah, he leaves with them. Terry drops by because he wants information from Psycho about Shroud, because everyone wants to know who Shroud is. And we're only so many episodes left from the end of the series. We got to wrap shit up. So they're off to have a conversation, but Akiko goes with one of the moms to confront the other mom, because they believe the other mom is the one that paid Old to age her daughter. Turns out, yes, it is. And then he tries to age Akiko, but Philip comes to the rescue, and Shotaro, even though he is an old man, still fucking does his job.
Well, tries to. We'll put it that way.
He tries. God damn it. Which is once more one of those cases of this is the standard, folks. This is the standard of the hero, of Ryder, right here. 80 years old, still slaps on the belt, puts in the memories to help his partner. So, Philip goes Fang Joker to try to fight Old. It's not working out because Shotaro's tired and he's sleepy. Downside of double: if they're both not good, we're not having a good time. While that fight's happening, Sayaka uses pool metaphors to explain that Shroud is a dick and has been using all of them, and apparently set up Terry's family to get murdered by Weather because she's the one that gave Weather his memory, which sets him right the fuck off.
Yeah. I love how that one conversation effectively puts him in the same mindset that he was pre-removal of Weather.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it came down to the one line that she said about Shroud giving Weather the memory.
Mm-hmm. Because I feel like she would know. He would tell her. But I also feel like they would also know, because it's like, we know who gets memories. We know you didn't get Weather from us. Which is another one of those cases of, you could say that she might be lying to you, but why would she?
Yeah, why would she? What would she gain out of it?
Mm-hmm. But that takes us out of 43 and into 44, where I did not copy the title correctly in the notes.
Oops.
Damn it. It's Shroud's confession, by the way.
At least you did it for the next two properly.
Damn you, copy paste. But coming out of it, Dove's getting his ass handed to him. Terry is pissed, and that is the short and long of our cold open. Because Old Piece is out. He's just like, I'm fucking done. I'm gonna go actually do my job and get paid. Speaking of which, Ryubei's getting paid by Foundation X because this is what Foundation X does, which makes them a magnificent background, like, connecting show villain, and the fact of, oh, they just pay bad guys to do their research, and they just get paid. That's it. That's all they need. It's so simple, and it's so easy to just work any concept into this.
Yeah, and I mean, really, if you think about it, it could technically have worked for every show all the way up to Geo.
Yep.
Like, some of them you might had to have gotten a little more creative on. But it could have worked.
I've actually thought about this, and it practically works with every single one of them. Granted, you have to get into spoilers for some of the series, but it practically works with all of them.
Well,
outside
I mean,
of Geo.
To be fair, that would honestly be fine even if it did get into spoilers. Look how late in the double Foundation X was introduced.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you could really throw them in almost up to the very end, and it would still make sense.
Mm-hmm. Because, I guess just to get into it, because I've thought about this, I guess pick up from Wizard, because Foundation X is covered from Double to Forze, thanks to Megamax. So they're all covered through there. You could easily have them being the one that initially financed Wiseman.
Yeah.
Like, financed him, like, helped him get a hold of the stones. Maybe even the original Philosopher's Stone. Gaim, they could be a silent backer for Yggdrasil.
Yeah. I mean, that one I'd have to say is probably the easiest one to explain into.
Mm-hmm. Like, you can even retroactively, like, throw in Ryoma as, oh, he was a Foundation X guy who we snuck in because, you know, we paid Yggdrasil a lot of money.
And
so we helped him get hired.
And, you know, to be fair, that would fit in with his character, too.
Uh-huh. Drive, they could have backed Bono.
Yep.
Like, I don't see Krim being backed by them, but I could see Bono cutting a side deal with them. Ghost is like the tricky one, because I'm like, either like the guy from the beginning got paid by them to research, or I don't know. Like, that's the only one option I got for Ghost. Ghost is like the one I'm like the shakiest on.
That would be the one that I would kind of be at too. That was the one I was going to say would be the trickiest to try to write for. That was one of them right there. It's like, yeah, Ghost kind of doesn't fit the mold for the rest of these to easily write it in, but it's still, I feel like, could be wrote in somewhere.
Yeah. Granted, I also feel like, considering the nature of the icons, you could just have a route where Foundation X is investigating icons on their own, and there's just other icons out there that aren't the 15.
Maybe even have it set up to where maybe they're working on their own.
Yeah. Because the movie establishes that, like, there's dozens and dozens of icons, in theory. Xaid, there's two options. Like, you once more can have them a silent backer of Get 'em Corp. Or, for funsies, you know how Masamune, towards the end of the series, cut a deal with the guy to give him the gamer driver and the gas hat to make the movie happen?
Yeah.
That's not the only deal he cut. He also cut a deal with Foundation X at the same time. Gave them a gamer driver and gas hat in the tech.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you have Masamune cutting deal. We see him cutting a deal with someone else. You could easily just say, oh, he had another meeting with Foundation X at the same time. Around the same time. And build's already covered by Final, actually. Yeah, build's already covered with Final.
Well, even if not, they could be the funding for the initial Mars trip.
Ooh, yes. Ooh.
I mean, even if we exclude that.
Yeah. Granted, you have to get into the fact that, like, build is... Her word from Final is an alternate continuity. So... Technically, Foundation X, I guess, doesn't exist
the
over
more
there.
reason you could still do that.
Yeah.
Because you could make them the ambiguous dimension hopping too.
Yeah. Because if you do that, and you allow them to figure out how to dimension hop, oh look, you can retroactively make them the villain, make them, like, help them connect to the rest of the previous Heisei era villains. Because now you can work in Decade. And through Decade, you can work in everybody else. And oh look, you have your overall Heisei villain!
And you know what's funny? It could have still worked with Geo.
Yeah.
Like, with the convoluted setup plan that they've got right now, you could still probably work it in, is what's bad. Too bad the rest of the show doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the episode. Terry's off looking for Shroud. And I believe he actually finds her at this point. Because he's off in the mystic little forest area that he always meets her in.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm skipping over the scene where Shroud kind of gets worked up because, oh look, we found out that the other kid got aged up. So the moms took out their anger on each other through their kids, which is extremely fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Terry decides to fight Shroud, and Shroud has her own Trigger Magnum in a red variant, and I think is smaller.
I don't
with a refined bomb.
know if it's smaller. It might just look smaller.
Yeah. She has a bomb memory, which she uses just to blow up Terry repeatedly because she wants him angry. Because she's all about the anger and the hate. Terry loses Shroud until he goes trial and finally closes the distance and is about to kick her as he's about to get shot in the face. But then she's like, kick me, kill me, do it. And he's like, no, fucking no, I'm better than this. Stop it. So she finally spills the beans on... She's Philip's mom. Do we get the whole backstory at this point? Before I go into all of it?
I don't...
Well,
I don't think we get the whole backstory right now. I can't swear to that.
It's split between here and the end of the fight, and I think I'll just roll it in now.
I think it might be like right before they take down Old that the rest of it happens.
I'll roll it all in now for convenience sakes, but she's Philip's mom. The family was all happy and joyful until they essentially discovered the well to the Earth's will. And shit went down involving Philip. We'll get there. That's the next two-parter. And essentially Ryubei started using Philip as a tool and not as their son. And she was like, I don't like this. And Ryubei said, well, fuck you, and decided to drown her in Terror's goop. Which... in this episode, and she's not scarred. So... I guess not. Like, I'm not wrong in thinking that, right?
Say that again, because it kind of cut out.
Oh, Terror hit her with the goop. And I thought the goop scarred her. Like, physically scarred her, but it doesn't, I think, because we see her post that attack in an episode, or like in a scene. But she doesn't look scarred. At least what we can see of her face. I always thought it did scar her.
See, that's the weird thing. The way they do it, there's a couple of different flashback scenes that they both look like her scarring came from two different things. So I don't know if that was insinuated that way or if that was they weren't sure which way they wanted to go with it.
True. But yeah, the crew knows that now. And that she's essentially set this up. But also, she didn't directly set up Terry's family getting murdered, but she did give him the weather memory because she wanted him to kill her husband. That didn't work out, so she went to plan B.
Well, I mean, when you give a crazy person a memory, what do you expect?
Excuse me. Maybe that wasn't her smartest idea, to be honest.
Because I mean, I'm sorry, we know before he got the memory, he was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I give her props for thinking, okay, well, he's crazy. He might do this. He might just be crazy enough to do it.
Mm.
But at the same time, she probably should have thought, wait, he's crazy. He might kill everyone.
Well, I'm going to interrupt this conversation. And after beating up Shroud, she leaves. And Wakata then leaves because Shroud's gone, so she has no reason to be here anymore. And Philip doesn't get to have a talk with his mom. But we still got to deal with Old. So while all this is going on, Jotaro, with nothing but a cane, is going after Old. Because, again, Jotaro is a badass. 80 years old and nothing but a cane. We'll still take on the bad guy of the week. But Philip and Terry arrive. They transform. Terry proves that, hey, we don't need Cyclone Axel Extreme. If you want that, you got a video game for that. But tag team work. Terry goes trial, does a really cool finisher with the sword, and I think he purposely doesn't go as fast as he can. Doesn't even toss the memory either. He just has it in his hand the whole time. And it's a 9.2 for reference.
which I believe isn't that the fastest to this point.
I believe so. I believe all of Terry's trial finishers get like progressively faster over the course of the series, or over the course of its appearances, which makes sense. Yeah, Ul's defeated. Shotaro's back to normal. Shroud spills the rest of the backstory. Has a whole bunch of regrets. Terry forgives her because he's let go of that pain or that anger and that hate, and he's moved on. And unfortunately, Philip does not get to have his moment alone with her because she poofs, which does lead to the events of A to Z. Which, by the way, we get to lead into A to Z with the T2 guy memories.
With the literal handoff.
Uh-huh. Which closes out
literal.
Which closes out episode 44. So what'd you think of this little two-parter?
I honestly can tell this was geared to set up the end kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for all intents and purposes, you and me both know the next two-parter doesn't really feel like a two-parter. More feels like the chain of events leading to the end.
Yeah, it feels more like a four-parter.
Yeah, like we've kind of hit that part of it. So, I feel like this did it justice to be the end of the two-parters kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because it set up everything with Shroud to kind of just close it out. And really kind of pushed along for what needed to be the push for the last part of the show.
Mm. Yeah, it just... I keep saying this, but I'm reminded of why Rider can be really good, because we have really good characters, and really good plots, and really good stories, and everything hits. Like, this is a show that's hitting all of its marks at on every part of it. And you feel it hit every mark. 'Cause even the music cue-ins are really good, because we get Terry's theme in this episode. Like, Terry's vocal theme in this episode when he has his big hero moment at the end. Yeah, it Double's really good, folks. It's really good. If you do not like Geo, go start here and watch all the way through. Because I guarantee you, it is a really good ride. Because Tamashii Nations, or not Tamashii Nations, Bluefin, which imports a bunch of figure arts and stuff, had a poll on Twitter asking which half of the Heisei era was better, the first half or the second half. Most of the poll was the second half. And I agree with that as someone who has seen both halves to substantial degree.
I feel like as long as you exclude Geo from that, yeah, I can agree.
Honestly, my thing is just the second half is more consistent. Like, I feel like Double Through Build, at least, are consistently considered good shows, no matter who you ask. Some may not like some over others, but it's consistently a good era. The first half, on the other hand, I think you have a lot of 50-50 shows. Shows that are either good or bad, depending on who you ask.
Well, case in point, the whole us watching Kabuto.
Yeah, so Kabuto is a super 50-50 show. I think Ryuki is a 50-50 show, I feel like. Especially considering it has two main writers that go back and forth on that show.
I could see it for that reason.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm okay with Blade, but people really love Blade, and I was kind of like lukewarm on it. So that gives you an idea. Hibiki, people love Hibiki up until like a certain point in the show, and then no one likes the show after that. And that is a supremely consistent point. Like, Deno has its detractors, Kiva has its detractors, like Hard. Decade definitely has its detractors. Like, I don't feel the second half of the Heisei era has as many people down on a show as the first half does for a lot of its shows. I don't think it has a unanimous, everyone likes this one show, I feel like.
I could see that. I mean, it does... Yeah... honestly, I feel like the only one, and really, it might be a case of I just needed to power through a little bit more, but honestly, I feel like Ghost was probably the only one I was like, with. And even then, it wasn't a, I hate it. It was just a, because it took too long to get started.
Yeah. And it took the main writer...
Of course, you know as well as I do on that one. It was trying too hard to push the toys.
Yeah.
And that I feel like that was the downfall.
Yeah, and that show, it took the main writer not writing most of the show to drop its quality. That's one of the key factors of Ghost not being good, is its main writer did not write most of the show. So for long stretches of that show, it was secondary writers working off notes, trying to progress the show in small strides for the main writer to come back and do the big stuff. Like, it had to take something like that for a second half of the Heisei era show's quality to be dropped to a significant degree. I feel like that can what's more shows how consistent it got. Anyway, moving on, we have episodes 45 and 46, and Tommy, take us to the recap.
Okay, I guess we'll start out with episode 45, The Devil's Tale.
I missed it. I missed the L?
Yeah. But I've got to say, I love your description of our client for the
Oh, Indiana Jane?
Yes.
I'm sorry, if this is not supposed to be Indiana Jones, I don't know who this is supposed to be.
Like, it has to be. It feels too spot on for it.
The only thing missing is she's not a teacher.
True. Huh. I didn't even think about that. But, yeah. But anyway, Indiana Jane here comes right after Shotaro kind of gives us the warm transition back from A to Z. Basically wanting them to help Ryubei, Terror, find something called an evil tail.
I believe just Evil Tail.
Yeah. Needless to say, based off of this, I think Shotaro's probably the only one that's like, yeah, we need to do it. Let's just get it out of the way. We know this is going to happen. Let's just start now.
At least we get to be there on the ground floor instead of reacting to this.
And that pretty much serves as our cold opening right there. Coming out of that, we have a scene where Ryubei is feeding the family cat. And then
which is a plot point.
Yes. Especially the movements with the spoon.
Mm-hmm.
But as the cat is eaten, Ryubei tells him to go after Evil Tail after he's done. Meanwhile, we have Akiko, Shotaro, and Indiana Jane going on the treasure hunt of doom, quite literally.
As they just break into the grounds and just start hunting around the ruins in the backyard of the mansion.
Like, is it actually implied that they break in, or is it kind of like an open area where anyone could just go in without problems?
Well, considering how large it is, I think you could probably just go there and nobody will ask questions. Because it is a fairly large backyard.
Yeah. That's one of those I'm like, huh. But we've got the funniest serious moment that we could possibly have as Akiko decides to use her slippers as a evil tail tracker.
She uses them as drowsing rods.
Of course she does.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Felipe's trying to figure out anything he can on this. Meanwhile, getting the whole big red wall of, no, you can't read this. When all of a sudden, oh look, all books relating to museum just magically appear for him.
Including his.
Which, needless to say, freaks him out and literally throws him out of the bookshelf. As Wakana's like, yeah, he's so spineless he couldn't even read it.
Even after she's the one who did this, because Wakana needs to be a dick for a little while longer.
Because of course she does. But meanwhile, we have Shotaro, being the man of the group, having to dig out the evil tail just for the cat to decide to come and be like, oh, you found my gift. At this point is when Terror comes in and decides to inform all of them that that is needed for the Gaia impact. And pretty much this is kind of the point where they decide that a retreat's probably the best to make sure that they don't get the tail.
Yeah, especially since Terror shows up and is like, I would like my thing now. Do not make me stick the goop on you.
I will goop you. Meanwhile, back at the office, Indiana Jane here decides she just really doesn't want anyone to mess with the evil tail because, you know, even after being told that, you know, Ryubei is crazy and kind of the mastermind behind all of this, she's like, nope, I don't want to believe it.
But he's my boss. He's so cool.
It's like, oh, if you only knew.
Yeah. Because for reference, she works at the museum, not the organization, the museum. No, the actual like Futo museum. That's the front for the entire organization. Subtle, I know.
Yeah. But meanwhile, while the rest of them are turned away for like, I don't know what, 5 seconds,
they talk to Philip about his book.
She manages to run out of the office, apparently too far away for any of them to catch up to her anytime soon. Like, you caught that too, right?
Yeah. You got a really fast head start. It's like, as soon as everyone turned their back to talk to Philip about his book, because we care more about Philip's sanity at the moment, I assume she just booked it.
Which is funny that she booked it during a book conversation, just saying.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, Terry and Shotaro, both knowing where she's going, head over to the museum in pursuit of her. While she's attempting to give the evil tale to Ryubei. I say attempting because I believe the dialogue that he has there kind of dissuades her from actually giving it.
Yeah.
But basically, when they get there, Ryubei decides to do his first of many attempts of screwing with Shotaro by completely it's not really instilling the fear, it's more amplifying it, I believe is how it was put.
Yeah, like the nugget was already placed the first time he ran across terror, and I guess through enough exposure, like, he can just trigger it without having to insert the memory. And he just proceeds to taunt him while he's at it, because Ryubei is a dick.
At least at this state, he is, anyhow. Kind of makes you wonder if he was always like this.
Considering the scenes we see before, no. I think all of the family went crazy at some point.
Well, I mean, they shouldn't have drank the Kool-Aid.
To be fair, the only reason Philip was probably the only sane one is because he did drink the veritable Kool-Aid in form of getting dumped down the well.
Yeah. He was kind of dunked in it.
Mm-hmm.
But we cut to outside where Terry's losing to the cat. Philip is still kind of just freaked out over finding out that, oh yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, because he read the book while all this was going on, so,
yeah. And meanwhile, Shotaro's just, like, scared so far out of his mind that he is just completely zoned out and doesn't realize what's going on around him.
Mm-hmm.
Needless to say, Philip snaps Shotaro out of it. But we kind of, which I'm feeling like I'm losing a little bit of what you got in the notes here, because I feel like there was a little more between all that.
There probably was. I think there's a little bit of a fight between Double and Terror before he decides to bust out the giant CG monster.
Well, what? Yeah, okay, I know what's missing here. After Philip snaps Shotaro out of it, that's when they go extreme and break the cat out of his state.
Oh, yeah.
Then Terror comes in.
Yeah.
And decides to stick his giant CG head monster thing on Terry.
Yeah. Yeah, because the Terry is surprised. He's surprised it's like, I was getting my ass handed to me by a goddamn house cat.
Yeah.
Excuse me? I have been dealing with a house cat for months. And now you tell me? God, I love how he just rolls back over and he's just like, this is my life now.
Yep. It was one of those, wait a minute, that was a cat. I'm dead now. Just, I'm done. But yeah, that ends with the note of Terror saying, "Oh yeah, you did read the book, so now you know you're dead too." Which, at that point, actually just cuts us into episode 46, The Last Supper, where we see... Yeah, they... Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, I thought your notes were off a little bit, but no, that's right. Because
They go extreme.
Terror knocks them out of form before the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Because of scaring Shotaro to crap again. But yeah, basically they try to go extreme to stop Terror. That doesn't work because it's not time yet.
Nope.
And we completely see Terror decide to say, Shotaro gets the goop. Because my CG head's already almost killed Terry.
Yeah. Which, oddly enough, will be the first of 2 times that Terry almost dies at the end of this goddamn series.
I mean, to be fair, that is kind of the trend that secondary writers kind of have to follow. You know that as well as I do.
Yeah.
They have to almost get just killed.
Well, I feel bad for Terry because I'm like, all right, I get to pretty much set out the last the last 4 episodes in the big climactic battle because it's not my plot and my plot's over with. So I guess I have to sit around bandaged.
I mean, I guess that's better than being dead though.
Yeah.
But needless to say, after this, Philip decides to doesn't decide to. He kind of gets taken away to go to bed, I guess would be the right term, because that's kind of where he wakes up at.
Wagana drags him off to the mansion.
I'm assuming that was his bedroom.
Probably, or at least a bedroom. It's a very large mansion.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, though, if they didn't keep a room just for him kind of deal.
Yeah.
But while all of this is going on, the now terrified Shotaro and almost dead Terry is at the office with Indiana, Jane, and Akiko.
I love how Jane is the one patching up Terry, while Akiko is trying to get Shotaro back in game.
Yeah, you would kind of think the roles would be flipped there. In all seriousness.
Mm-hmm. I know their cop buddies drop by, and it scares the piss out of Shotaro because everything is loud now.
Everything is loud, and I almost wonder if maybe Terror's goop maybe makes you hallucinate, so they probably didn't look like them.
It probably makes you either hallucinate or hypersensitive.
You know, I didn't think about that part. Could just be that.
Yeah, because it's he reacts kind of to not as loud noises, but as soon as it's something loud and near him, he flips out.
Case in point, the cell phone call.
Yeah.
But yeah, so back at the mansion, we see Philip waking up in a bed. I guess since we don't know if that's his room or not. He proceeds to go down to the dining hall where he sees Psycho, Wakana, and Ryubei all sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
As Shroud decides to walk past.
It's like, hi, I got the invitation too.
Yeah. Which is funny that she even really showed up, kind of deal. Considering she kind of wants to kill Ryubei.
But she's out of the to quote the show, she's out of the game at the moment in terms of doing anything. She's here just as a, yeah, we're all back together. Yeah.
But it boils down to everyone kind of hates each other. You can tell the tension's there in the room, and Philip tries his darndest to be like, okay, look, we're together. Could we not try to make nice?
Yeah, he's just like, Philip is desperately trying to save his family. He's like, okay, everyone's here. It's my one chance to save my family, and everyone's too far gone.
Yep.
Like, the pieces may be here, but it's not a whole picture anymore. Too much has been broken off.
And in light of all of that, that does kind of turn into our last Nazca Clay Doll fight.
Yeah.
And I say last because, yeah, Psycho kind of gets the Nazca memory destroyed. Yeah,
because they just start fighting in the dining hall because they just start picking a fight with each other. They just transform. They just start fighting at the hall. And Ryubei's like, this is the family. And he's just okay with it. And I'm just like, yeah, Philip, you're not saving them.
Yeah, I love the fact that Ryubei's like, yep, it always comes to a memory fight. Just always. But after that, well, I think actually wasn't it before the Nazca memory break that Shroud told Philip that Shotaro's actually the key?
I think it's on her way out, and it's like they're fighting and they're leaving. Shroud's like, well, I'm done here, and goes to leave. And Philip tries, is like, no, come on, do something. She's just like, look, this isn't your family. Straight up tells him, is like, this isn't your family. Shotaro's your family.
And I think her words are that he's the trump card.
Which is appropriate because that is a direct line of his from A to Z.
But after Nazca's done for the series and just we'll never see that memory again kind of deal, Philip gets a chance to make one last call, and it actually does feel like he kind of broke through terror when he was talking to Shotaro. And basically told him that, yeah, he might be gone, but he's never gone as long as Shotaro's willing to transform. Like, that wasn't exact words, but that was the sentiment behind it.
He quotes the line from episode 1 about riding with the devil. Which I love how many times we get callbacks in these 4 episodes to earlier stuff.
Although I just realized something. Did Indiana Jane kind of do the whole stealing the evil tail during the fight, or was it right after the call? Because I thought it was...
It was during the dinner.
Yeah, I was thinking it was like during the fight.
She did it during the dinner, and she shows up after the call with the tail in hand.
Ah. And I'm gonna just say this. Sometimes you might need to narrow it down. I know what you meant by that, but Ryubei is a dick. Yeah. Kinda gotta narrow that down sometimes.
And that was at the... when he shoves him in.
Yeah.
That was the entire conversation, just summed up of, Ryubei is a dick!
Yeah. Quite literally. And... I like the fact that Philip kept trying to see if he could tap into the non-dickish side of him, and was like,
yeah,
I'm your son. Are you seriously gonna just shove me into non-existence?
Are you going to shove me into another well? Which you didn't shove me in the first well, mind you. Are you going to literally shove me in this well so my sister can become a god?
And of course Ryubei's like, yep, because I already lost you once. You're dead, remember?
Like, you're dead already.
Like,
I'm not. I already mourned ya.
That's the point where it's like, any other time I would have to say you would have to narrow that down, but no, that line sums this entire scene up.
Mm-hmm.
But upstairs where the evil tail's box is, we see Ryubei up there close to the box. I don't think he was actually at the box at that point. It wasn't until Akihiko and Shotaro came in and was like, looking for this? That he was like, wait, you've got it? How? But we find out that Evil Tail is actually a brush that held... I think the best way to sum it up was it held a memory, so to say, of a happier time with the family.
Yeah.
Like, I know there was a... I don't know how you would say it. Maybe ritual kind of deal behind it.
It's Ryubei holding on to like the last good part of him.
That's the sentiment behind it, anyhow. But I'm wanting to say it was something like they each wrote their names on it and said a prayer, and that meant that they would always be together, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I love the fact that Shotaro points out that Ryubei does have a fear of his own. Because that is the truth. Even though he didn't want to admit it, that was the truth. He always feared of losing that part of it. But we see Shotaro transform into Double to completely flip Terror out, because it's like, how? You shouldn't have been able to do that. And then we go back outside where CG head comes off of Terror again. But this time Terry is like, nope, I'm gonna use everything that I can to destroy this thing.
Yeah, not only am I gonna use Wall-E, I'm gonna fucking just strap the jet on my back and just fucking go flying.
Which I find funny, they kind of did it that way at the end.
I also think that's the one and only time he ever uses it.
Probably is. Because I don't think there's really a need for it, is there?
Not really, but considering he probably can't walk at the moment, it's his only way of maneuvering.
Yeah. Yeah. But we then see the extreme memory kind of come in and just say nope to Claydol and just completely rip Philip out of her kind of deal there.
Mm-hmm.
Which, needless to say, that's I believe, isn't that it for... No, that's not it for Claydol. No.
That's it for Wakana outside of end of episode.
Yeah. And then basically they proceed to beat the crap out of Terror.
Yeah, they kick Terror so hard. They kick him off to the front door of the mansion, which is like a good bit of ways away.
I wasn't actually sure that they did that got him all the way there.
They kicked him almost to the front door.
Yeah. And somehow managed to knock the memory out of him before then, so that means that he traveled that way as a human.
Uh-huh. Which Terry decided
to get up and walk afterwards, so yeah.
And Terry blew up a part of the mansion with the giant monster that he destroyed with his flying A formation thing.
But I believe that's actually where we kind of see Philip wanting to go try to save either Ryubei or Wakana kind of deal, or both. And Shotaro's just like, no, it's over.
Shotaro's like, look, they are both, neither one of them are the person you want to save. It's not them anymore. Let them go.
Which then we wind up seeing Ryubei realize that he apparently did succeed in getting Wakana merged with the Earth. And
we see her ghost out of the mansion.
And at that point he was like, okay, I've technically won, so I'm fine. I regret nothing.
He dances, the mansion collapses around him, and he's dead. He's gone.
I do like the end cut we got, though, where Shotaro makes the comment that he feels like it's not done yet, because it's not.
No, we have 3 episodes left. Technically 2 episodes left because the last one is an epilogue, but
at that point, we then see that Wakana's not dead. Nope, she's in Foundation X. Thanks to Kazu.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess on that, thoughts on the last 2 episodes? Well, 45 and 46. can't say the last 2 episodes.
I love how we have a fight with a final villain, and we kill the final villain, and we're done. No revivals, no second chances, no fucking retreats. No, this is the showdown we've been building up for 40 episodes. Here's the showdown. He's dead now. We're done. We're moving on.
Yeah. Unlike with, I don't know, the last 2 writer shows where, final villain just won't stay dead.
Masamune and Evolt. By the way, Evolt, I believe they're both still kicking. I don't think Masamune is. No, Masamune is not. He's dead. He is super dead.
No, he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. Evolt's not. As of Cross New World, he's not dead. Again.
I mean, with Evolt, I can justify it. Because, Banja does technically have Evolt's DNA, so... question mark? Like, I feel like that's still a stretch, but it could be justified.
Evolt, it's justified in New World as Evolt pulls the same trick that Poppy and Peridot pull at the end of X8, and he just a small piece of him latched on the Banjo, and he's just been gestating ever since. And oh look, I'm still alive.
See, now that I don't get.
That is literally what he says. That's literally how he says he stayed alive. Because God damn it, can we not have a final villain that just dies?
At that point, just kill him. Like, at that point, just kill him. Be done with him. Get a new villain.
I think the problem is that both of them are technically writers. So, merchandise. That is why they get to still be kicking, is because they get the writer title. That provides them a certain amount of immunity from death. Which I say, Shojiro has words for you about you using that title. And for reference, it's 2 words. And it starts with, one word starts with F, the other word ends with F. But no, I just like that we have a showdown with Ryubei. We've been building to a showdown with Ryubei. Like, he sets back our heroes, but they come back. They fight him. They beat him. It's done. We move on. Like, I miss that so much. But otherwise, it's all the strings to double once more shown off. Characters, story, music, just everything.
Yeah, it's almost like Double is a good writer show.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It is, like, it's not as, like, drawn out or as, like, big, but I'm okay with it just being just Double just punching the shit out of him repeatedly because fuck this asshole. I'm okay with that because sometimes you just need a fight that is just that. Because all is just, it's more about the story than it is the choreography, and I'm okay with that. yeah. Anything else?
No, I can't think of nothing.
Alright then. Next week, it is the final 3 episodes of Double, 47, 48, 49. The final 2-parter, the epilogue. And then we move into the final 2 pieces of Double media that we haven't covered. At least video-wise. Which is the 2 Double Returns movies. So we are like 3 weeks away from being done with all of the Double content.
And then
For
at that
now.
point, I don't even remember what we decided after. If we even decided after.
We're moving on to O's.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which is why I say for now, because we'll have to review Movie War Core at some point.
Yep, because we never did.
Yeah. Because, I have to see when that's supposed to take place in continuity. I say that because it doesn't. At least in terms of that O's portion of Movie War Core, it does not take place in continuity. Everything else does. Not the O's portion. So just be prepared to just go from the show into that portion of the movie and just go, who the fuck wrote this? And then I'm going to tell you it's Inoue already. Yeah, Inoue wrote that portion of the movie. And you're going to be able to tell that, yes, Inoue wrote this portion of the movie. And he also did not watch O's and did not follow any show notes that he was given.
Makes sense.
Because there are things about that movie that are confusing. Anyway, until next time, folks.